The night was unusually quiet in the vast plains of northern Nigeria. Osman, a young Fulani herdsman, was finishing his work, preparing his cattle for the night. The sun had just set, painting the sky a deep orange as it disappeared behind the horizon. Osman had inherited 22 cows and 8 calves from his father, and these animals were his entire life. They were his wealth, his future, and his pride. Every day, Osman would travel with them, seeking green pastures and clean water for them to drink. Life as a herdsman was not easy. He lived a simple life with few comforts. His meals were basic, often consisting of fure de nono, a mixture of millet and milk. But the life of a nomad wasn't just about simplicity. It was dangerous too. Osman had to be alert to threats like bandits, wild animals, and unpredictable weather. Yet despite the hardships, Osman loved his work. On this particular evening, after tying the cows in their resting area, Osman noticed something strange. One of the calves was missing. He looked around, and for a moment, he thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. But no, the calf was definitely gone. His heart began to race as he listened. In the distance, he heard a faint, weak bleating sound. "I must find it before it gets too dark," Osman thought, grabbing his staff and setting off toward the sound. The cool evening air brushed against his face, and the sun's warmth quickly faded into the shadows. As he walked further away from the herd, he could hear the calf's cry becoming clearer. Little did he know that this search, this simple act of looking for a missing calf, would lead him to an extraordinary discovery, a discovery that would change his life forever. The sound of the calf grew louder as Osman walked toward the rocky hills of Dotsen Kora. These hills were familiar to him, but something felt different that night. The landscape seemed darker, as if something was waiting for him. As Osman reached the base of the rocks, he finally saw the calf, stuck between 2 large boulders. Relief washed over him as he carefully freed the calf and tied it to a nearby tree. Just as he was about to leave, a glimmer of something unusual caught his eye. Behind a cluster of thorny bushes was a small opening in the rocks, one that he had never noticed before. It was barely visible, as if nature had tried to hide it. His curiosity piqued, Osman pushed aside the branches and crawled through the gap. The cave was dark, cold, and silent, but something inside him told him to keep going. After a few steps, he lit his lantern. The flickering light revealed walls covered in ancient carvings and strange markings. Osman walked deeper, and his heart began to race with excitement and fear. Suddenly, the narrow passage opened into a large chamber. Osman stopped in his tracks, stunned by what he saw. Gold coins were scattered across the floor. Jewels, crowns, and beautifully crafted swords lay untouched, as if they had been placed there carefully. But what stood out the most was a large staff, intricately carved with lions and crescent moons. It was made of wood but decorated with gold and gemstones. Osman's breath caught in his throat. He had never seen anything like it. Who would leave such treasures here? Osman whispered, the sound of his voice echoing in the chamber. He felt a strange mix of excitement and unease. The staff looked royal. Some of the objects had symbols on them that Osman didn't recognize. Although temptation rose within him, Osman knew this treasure wasn't his. It had to belong to someone important, perhaps even the royalty of Sokoto. He couldn't keep it. He had to do the right thing. With a heavy heart, Osman decided to report the find to the village elders. The next morning, Osman made his way to Kofa Dotsen, a village several miles away. The village elders were known for their wisdom, and Osman hoped they could help him understand what he had found. When Osman presented the staff to the head elder, Malam Diko, the elder's face turned pale with shock. "This is no ordinary staff," Malam Diko said, his voice trembling. "This is the royal staff of the Amir of Sokoto." The villagers gathered around, murmuring in disbelief. Osman watched as Malam Diko explained the history of the staff. Years ago, Sokoto was attacked by enemies. During the chaos, the Amir's treasures were stolen, and this staff disappeared. It is said that some loyal servants hid the treasures to protect them, but there are rumors that some traitors in the Amir's court took them for themselves. An older man, Baba Solihu, stepped forward and squinted at the staff. I remember the night the treasures were lost, he said. Chief Bola, our village leader, returned from Sokoto that night with a fortune. He claimed it was from trade, but some of us wondered if he had taken something more. The villagers exchanged nervous glances. Could their own chief have betrayed the Amir? The air was thick with suspicion. Osman listened intently. His heart began to beat faster. He had never suspected that Chief Bola could be involved, but the more he thought about it, the more it made sense. This staff had to belong to the Amir, and Chief Bola's sudden wealth after the attack was far too suspicious to ignore. The elders wasted no time. They called Chief Bola and his sons, Sonny and Musa, to explain themselves. When they arrived in the village square, Chief Bola's eyes darted nervously toward the staff. His son Sonny stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Where did you find this staff?" he demanded. "In a cave near Dotsin Kora," Osman replied calmly. It was hidden with other treasures, all marked with royal symbols. Chief Bola tried to deny everything. "I have served this village faithfully for many years," he said. "I have no knowledge of such treasures." But the villagers were no longer convinced. Whispers of betrayal filled the air. Finally, under the pressure of the villagers' stares, Chief Bola broke down and confessed. "It's true," he said quietly. "When Sokoto was attacked, my sons and I took the treasures. We hid them in the cave, hoping to use them later for our benefit. We couldn't move all of it at once, so we left most of it behind." The village erupted in anger. "You betrayed the Amir," someone shouted. "You lied to us all." The villagers' trust in Chief Bola shattered. His position was stripped, and he and his sons were banished from the village. With Chief Bola's confession, the elders knew they had to do more. The Amir of Sokoto needed to hear about the stolen treasures and the betrayal. A small group, including Osman, set out for Sokoto with the staff and the news of the stolen treasure. The journey was long, taking them across dry deserts and rocky hills. Osman's legs ached, and his throat was parched, but his determination never wavered. When they finally reached Sokoto, the Amir welcomed them with open arms. The Amir, a tall and dignified man, listened carefully as the elders explained everything. Osman presented the staff with reverence, and when the Amir saw it, tears filled his eyes. "This staff is more than just a symbol of my power," the Amir said, his voice filled with emotion. "It represents the trust of my people. I thought it was lost forever." The Amir listened as they told him about Chief Bola's betrayal. After hearing the truth, the Amir looked at Osman with deep respect. "You have done a great service, not only for me but for all the people of Sokoto. You have brought justice." To honor Osman, the Amir held a grand feast. There was music, dancing, and delicious food. Osman had never seen anything like it. The Amir stood and raised a cup in Osman's honor. "For your bravery and honesty," the Amir said, "I reward you with part of the treasure, land near Sokoto, and the hands of my daughters, Princess Aisha and Princess Maryam, in marriage." For a simple herdsman like Osman, these words were a dream come true. He had spent his life chasing cattle, never imagining that one day he would stand in the palace of a mighty Amir, honored for his courage and honesty. Osman accepted the reward with humility. With the Amir's help, he built a thriving settlement near Sokoto. His heart grew, and he became a respected leader in the region. His two wives, Princess Aisha and Princess Maryam, brought wisdom and beauty to his life. Their marriage symbolized the unity between the Fulani and the people of Sokoto. Years passed, and Osman's story became a legend. People from all around spoke of the herdsman who found the lost treasure and brought a dangerous betrayal to light. Yet, despite his newfound wealth and status, Osman never forgot his roots. He continued to live by the values that had guided him: honesty, hard work, and respect for his heritage. As the sun set over his land, Osman would look out over his cattle, reflecting on how the night he found that lost calf had changed his life forever. The treasure was not just gold and jewels, it was the discovery of truth, the power of doing what was right, and the reward that followed. Osman's life was a testament to the strength of character and the unexpected paths that life can take when you choose integrity over greed.